going to be making this awesome sleeping bag. Now, at the very end of this video, I will be telling you a few suggestions on how you can adjust this sleeping bag if you want to make it smaller for a younger child or larger for an adult. The size that I made and the sizing that I am giving you throughout this entire video will all be for a 10 to 13-year-old, around that age range. My youngest son, Roman, has already claimed this for himself and he loves it. All of the fabric that I used for this awesome sleeping bag came from Michael Miller Fabrics, and the best part is it is glow-in-the-dark fabric. I love how this turned out. I used 2 types of cotton on the front of the fabric. So if you want to do the same type of quilted pattern that I did, you will need 2 1/4 yards for each different type of pattern. Make sure that the patterns that you are buying, if you're not going with a solid print, are more non-directional fabrics than directional print. I think that will make it a lot easier for you to put this entire project together. So, like I said, 2 1/4 yards for each print on the front, and then you'll need 4 1/4 yards of fabric for the inside of your sleeping bag. Now, as far as the inside goes, you don't have to use a cotton fabric. You could also use a flannel fabric, but my recommendation is that because flannel shrinks at a higher rate than cotton fabric, you'll buy a little bit more yardage for that if you're buying flannel fabric. And you need to pre-wash all of your fabrics before you start this project. For this project, you will need a 96-inch long zipper. You will want it to be the type that separates all the way at the end of the zipper, as well as having a double tab. It'll just make it easier to get in and out of that sleeping bag. I will link to 3 different sizes in the description down below to the zipper that I used for this particular project. So for the batting, you will need to buy 2 yards worth of fabric in the length. Batting often comes wider, so you don't have to piece it together, so 2 yards should be enough. As long as it is 68 inches wide, you will be good. So that is everything that you need to know before we jump into the tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, as always, I ask you to please subscribe so that you don't lose me on YouTube. Now let's jump on in and get sewing this sleeping bag. Start by grabbing the 2 pieces of cotton fabric that you've chosen for the quilted front portion of your sleeping bag. You will need 6 strips total, all cut at 13 inches wide by 68 inches long. So you will need 3 strips cut from one of the fabrics and 3 from the other fabric. The easiest way to cut these strips that I found was to fold my fabric in half, widthwise and then lengthwise. I just lined up the rough edges and I just cut that away so I had a nice straight edge. Then I turned my fabric so that I could also trim away the selvage edge. Then you can measure 13 inches in and cut along that line. You should, if you folded it the same way that you see that I did here, you will end up with 2 strips of fabric. Then I unfolded my fabric so that I could get another 13-inch strip of fabric cut out. And just a note, if you are going to be cutting your fabric by folding it in half the way that I do, just make sure that there are no bubbles in the folds, otherwise you will be very disappointed with your cut. Now that you have a total of 6 13-inch wide strips by 68-inch long, you can lay those strips so that they form an every other pattern, and then we will sew all of these strips together along their long edge using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. In this tutorial, we are using a 1/2 inch seam allowance unless otherwise stated. Once all strips have been sewn together, then just take it to your iron and give it a nice press. I like to press my seams open, but if you prefer to press them to the side, you can do that as well. And now it's time to prepare the fabric on the inside of your sleeping bag. So for that piece of fabric, we bought a lot more yards of fabric, and that's because you are actually going to open up your fabric and line up both selvage sides together and fold it in half. You will then cut along that folded line, so you will end up with 2 large panels. Now with selvage edges, often you end up with one selvage that has a larger thicker border with all of the writing on it. And then the opposite selvage is often a lot more narrow. So what I did for this was I lined up those two narrow selvages and I sewed my fabric together using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. With a 1/2 inch seam allowance, that selvage will be nicely hidden in that seam. Next, we will cut our panel so that it ends up being 74 inches high by 68 inches wide. The way that I did this, I actually folded my fabric in half, so I had to account for that 1/2 inch selvage edge within my measurement. So with it folded, I actually cut it at 34.5 inches. And then if you open it up, it will measure to the 68 inches that you need. And when you cut it this way, you will end up with a nice long strip of fabric that you will use for your ties. So don't get rid of that nice long strip of fabric. It's at this point that you can take your panel to your iron and just press that seam open. Now it's time to make our ties. So grab that long strip of excess fabric that we got off of our panel, and you will cut 2 strips of fabric that measure at 2.5 inches wide by the length of the fabric. Then take those 2 strips of fabric, fold your strips of fabric in half, and then cut them in half again. So you will now have 4 long strips of fabric that you can turn into your ties. It's at this point that I also trimmed away the rough edges to the strips. To turn these 4 strips of fabric into ties, I suggest that you take them and you fold them right sides together and give them a press with your iron. And then you will sew a 1/4 inch seam down the long edge and then across one short end. Once you've done that, then you can take a turning tool and turn the project right side out. Then to give your ties a nice crisp end, I like to use something long like my plastic chopstick, and I just push it down to the end so that I can push out those nice points before taking it over to my iron and pressing the entire project flat. Once you've pressed all 4 of your ties nice and flat, take it back to your sewing machine and sew a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance along all 3 sides, leaving the open end alone. Now it's time to put our entire sleeping bag together. So the first thing you'll do is you will lay your inside piece of fabric right side up, and then you will grab your quilted sleeping bag top and you will lay it right side down on top of that. Then pin around the entire outer edge, leaving yourself about 12 to 24 inches worth at the bottom side of the sleeping bag. You are not going to sew across that section because you need that section to be able to turn your project right side out later on. You will sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance around this entire thing, making sure to backstitch when you start and when you stop, and of course leaving that opening unsewn. Now that both pieces of fabric have been sewn together, you can reach on in and turn your project right side out. Then just reach back into that opening and with your finger just push out all 4 points. It's at this point that I did take it to my iron and I just pressed all 4 edges, including the opening, and I just folded in those flaps and pressed them in as well, because that will make it easier for sewing later on. Now that the outer shell of our sleeping bag is completely put together, it's time to measure out our batting. So whatever batting you purchased, just lay it down and then lay the sleeping bag on top of that, and then cut around the entire project. That way you have a piece of batting that will nicely fit inside this sleeping bag. Next, you'll want to roll it up and shove it inside that opening that we left for our sleeping bag. And then of course this part's a little bit finicky, but you want to make sure that all 4 corners have reached their points. Once I've figured out that my corners are in the right spots, I just pin them in place just to make it a little bit easier so that the batting isn't sliding around too much. And I'll give it a few shakes to maneuver the batting nice and flat throughout the entire project. Once I've done that, then I will grab my basting pins. And now it's time to quilt our project. So grab your basting pins, and what I did was I pinned around the entire outer edge. That way my batting stayed in place. And then I pinned along all of the seams from the top quilted piece of fabric that we made earlier. Once everything is pinned, it is time to do the quilting process. To do this, if you have a walking foot, now is the time to put that on your sewing machine. I used the top of my quilted sleeping bag as a guide for all of my seams. So I just lined up the side of my sewing foot along that seam, and then I sewed across. I also sewed across the top of the sleeping bag. That way the batting would stay secure in the wash if I ever washed my sleeping bag. And then I also sewed across the bottom opening that we left to fit the batting inside. Now that we've quilted our sleeping bag nicely together and we've closed that final opening, it is now time to fold our project in half and find that center point on the bottom part of our sleeping bag. Then it's time to move on to the zipper. Lay your sleeping bag so the outer fabric is facing right side up. Look at the center marking that you made earlier, and you'll want to line up your zipper along that bottom edge. Now to do this, you will lay the right side, so the top side of your zipper, right side face down along the edge of the bottom of your sleeping bag. And I made sure to give myself a little bit of space beside that center marking. So I would suggest giving yourself 1 to 2 inches worth of space before you start the zipper. As you're clipping your zipper along the edge, you'll come to the corner, and the corner can be a little bit finicky. I won't snip that edge right now while I'm clipping it in place, but when I'm at my sewing machine, when I get to that corner, I just take my snips and I snip about 1/4 of an inch in, around 3 or 4 snips around that corner, and it just makes the zipper a little bit more flexible so that it's a little bit easier to sew around that corner. Then you'll continue clipping all the way to the top portion of your sleeping bag. Now at the top of most zippers, there will be a little bit of extra fabric, a little bit of a tab there. What you can do is you can fold it down on top, angling a little bit away from the zipper, or you could just lay that tab flat and sew right along that edge as well if you'd prefer to do that. Take it to your sewing machine and use a zipper foot to sew your zipper on. So once you've attached your zipper to the one half of your sleeping bag, you can unzip it all the way, and when you get to that center, just make sure that you are flipping your zipper correctly so that it lays on the other half of your sleeping bag. As you can see here, I'm pinching my sleeping bag together at that point so that I can make sure that the other half of my zipper will also lay correctly on my sleeping bag. And as you can see here, I have about 1 inch to 2 inches worth of space just to make it a little bit easier to connect my zipper when the entire thing has been sewn. Now it's time to pin the second part of your zipper to your sleeping bag, but don't sew it in place just yet. What you're going to do is look at the bottom half of that section. We want to add our ties into this section right now. Take a look at the bottom half of your sleeping bag and then visually find half of a half. And you'll stack your ties one on top of each other, and then we will tuck them right underneath our zipper and we will pin those in place. When you are sewing your zipper onto your sleeping bag, when you get to the point where you're coming along these ties, just sew over them, then back stitch, and then sew over them one more time before you keep going. This will really secure these ties in place, which will be helpful when you finally start using your ties. Let your ties overhang about 1/2 of an inch, and we can always clip the excess away later. Now it's time to take this to your sewing machine and attach that second half of your zipper. Do it the same way that you did the first half. And now your sleeping bag is done. All you need to do is fold it in half, zip it right up, and then you can fold it in half one more time, rolling it up and using your ties to secure it in place.
I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Now for the adjustments. If you want to adjust this for a smaller child, you will use a 72-inch length zipper, and you will take off around 24 inches from the length of this project. Now, if you want to make it for an adult, you will use a zipper that is 114 inches in length, and you will add about 18 inches to the length of your sleeping bag if you want to make it for an adult. So a few options when it comes to this tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.